Hey everybody, I'm Greg Soul and I'm here with another CIQ demo. So today I'm going to be taking all these disparate systems and I'm going to fuse them together using Ascender. So what is Ascender? It is CIQ's automation platform based on upstream Ansible AWX, which is awesome because I have written a ton of playbooks and now I get to use them. There's also a ton out in public Git repositories, or ChatGPT is happy to create some for me and now I get to utilize them, right? Using CIQ support. So today I'm going to be using ServiceNow. It's an ITSM, which I think most people are probably familiar with, but if you're not, it does like ticket system, it does asset management, you can allow users to kind of order things, all of that stuff, kind of all in one package. And so mentioning all of those, the ticket system, like I can easily with Ascender open incidents, I can make updates to them, right? I can do all of that stuff. It has a CMDB, configuration management database, which is basically like a database holding all of my hosts, right? Whether they're server assets, network security, whatever they happen to be. That's kind of my source of truth. And Ascender can pull information out and easily ingest that into its inventories, or it can actually really easily write in there as well. In this case, I'm going to be using Service Catalog. And so Service Catalog is a way that you can have users pop in and request a new laptop or printer or access to some resource. But in this example, I'm going to have my users order a new VM. And guess what? It's going to be Rocky 8.6 because I've got that selected in my radio button here. And I've got my demo set up to use LTS. Long-term support. So Rocky's got a repo system, or rather CIQ has a repo system called Mountain. And in there we have an 8.6 LTS option, long-term support, meaning it will stay at 8.6 if I want it to. There's a lot of really cool things about using Mountain. That happens to be one of them. So I'm tying in multiple things. Interesting, huh? So here, my service catalog item, you can see it's really just fill in the blank. You know, tell me what you want. I try and use multiple choice single select as much as possible, because if I allow users to type in how much RAM they want, they will use all of the RAM. So once I am done with that, I will click order now. Something I really like about the service catalog system inside of ServiceNow is it has a really good approval system. So I have this one written so that somebody else has to pop in and approve it. Now this could be a single user, it could be a group, it could be multiple users and groups kind of all in succession, however you want to do it. But I'm going to come down here into the request itself. I'm going to click me. I'm going to go up here to action, approve, and then I'm going to pop quickly over to Ascender into the job section. And you can see I have some jobs running. I didn't touch Ascender. I didn't tell Ascender to launch anything. It actually came from ServiceNow. Well, how did it do that? Right here, you see the Ascender GUI, right? Which is great and functional and useful, and I love it. But this GUI is really just calling its own API on the back end, right? Application Programming Interface, and ServiceNow is happy to call the API, right? So why are APIs cool? You have tons of tools in your environment that you know, trust, love, you're going to continue to use. Now they get to take advantage of automation through Ascender's API, right? They just call in, basically saying, hey, run this workflow, run this job, you know, run this playbook is really what it's doing. Pass over any extra information you want for that job. So again, a workflow is something special though. I'm going to pop into this. You'll immediately see how it's different, but I want to quickly take a look at the details here. So this is the details of the job that was run. You can see right here, it's just a bunch of variables. They get passed into my playbook. That's really all it does. I'm calling the API and say, here's a whole bunch of variables, run this workflow. Excuse me. And so in this example, I've got my VM name, all of my settings passed in. Bob's your uncle, we're good. Nothing too complicated. Well, in the output section of the workflow right here, you can see I've got all these little boxes, and guess what? Each one of these are just playbooks. So I start kind of changing the way I write my playbooks. I try and make them do discrete tasks. So instead of like one giant thing that does everything, if I can break them into discrete tasks, all of a sudden they become Lego bricks. So I can snap them and move them to different places. So this one is ServiceNow provision VM, but really all it's doing is calling my VMware environment, yet another system I'm integrating. I told you it was going to be a lot. So it's calling VMware and it's doing provisioning. but it could provision Windows 2016, Rocky 9, Rocky 8.6, right? It's like all these different options. I'm really just passing in variabilized information that says, hey, build it this way, build it that way. So you can see this just went green with the check mark, which means that task completed. And now this one over here for setting up LTS is cranking, right? So if I wanted to, I could pop into this individual task. I can see the output from it, so I can see everything that happened, right? It provisioning the machine. And then I could also come back into the workflow. You can see it says job type workflow right there. I can see the next one running. Here you can see red and green lines. Green means I completed properly, so go this direction. Red means I failed, go this direction, which means you can actually do some error handling in your workflows, right? So I could fail and then recall the workflow if I wanted to. I could try and do rollback. I could just stop there and I could create a trouble ticket inside of ServiceNow, right? I mean, you can send emails, do whatever makes sense for your environment, right? You can actually bake that in there. So as you saw, it's really easy for ServiceNow to call the Ascender API, right? I'm not going to exactly wait on the LTS demo to finish. I did one specifically for LTS, so I would say pop over there if you want more details on that. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to reach out to me or anybody on our team. If nothing else, I would say happy ascending, happy mounting, happy VMwaring, happy ServiceNowing, and we'll see you next time.